Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee and Commerce. I have Kathleen Stockham of JTV with me today. She's the Senior Director of Marketing, and we'll be talking about the changes we're seeing in consumer behavior and what that could mean for retailers. Now, I love having Kathleen's perspective here because JTV was born on television, so she manages an interesting intersection, or cross-section rather, of how consumers are interacting with brands. So, Kathleen, we're a year and a half into this digital first world and shopper behavior continues to change. Let's chat a bit about the shopper trends you're seeing and where you're seeing them people spend most of their time.
Sure. So one of the things that we have observed, particularly in this kind of 18-month window that we've been living in from a pandemic perspective, last year people were home, they were sort of captive, they were a great captive audience, of course, for broadcast retail outlets like us. They're surfing their phones, they have a lot of free time, and there was a lot of beneficial activity for a lot of the digital first retailers out there, as a lot of the brick and mortars were closed and shutting down. And so obviously online had the benefit. But this year it's a little bit different. And I think consumers are being a lot more frugal with their time. They're able to get out, they're able to shop, they're able to travel. And I also think people are being a lot more extravagant. So for instance, I have a friend of mine who is a general manager and runs probably one of the most expensive restaurants in Atlanta, Georgia. He's a good friend of mine and a college buddy of mine. I met up with him recently, actually, and he was sharing with me that, dinner checks at his restaurant typically run in the 200s or so for, a table of 2 or 3. And that's, been kind of the regular run of their dinner checks. Well, now, particularly this summer, those dinner checks are now on average well over $400. And it's not because the cost of food has gone up that much, but a lot of it is because these consumers are actually being a lot more extravagant. Though they're ordering that 1 and 2 bottles of wine, they're sticking around for that dessert. They're ordering appetizers. And my friend who's the general manager said he's never seen anything like it. There's no more hesitancy for that extravagant spend. We're seeing some of that on our end too, from a jewelry perspective. We're finding that consumers are, we sell everyday value. We're everyday low price. We have beautiful jewelry for value at JTV, but we're finding that those consumers are actually going for some of those higher ticket items, those beautiful tanzanite bracelets, those gorgeous diamonds, those lab grown diamonds. And so we're watching that dynamic as well. And we feel like it's a lot of pent up energy for people that are, let's be honest, rewarding themselves. They're rewarding themselves for what they've been through and what their families have been through for the last 18 months. And so it's okay to have that expensive dinner, or let's go get that really pretty piece of jewelry. And I think it's just a difference in opinion right now of where people were from a year ago to where they are today.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think what you're pointing out is there's a lot more competition just in general. It's not just among retailers, but with other experiences, be it travel or dining or something else. And it is kind of cool to see that people are kind of rewarding themselves, or I've heard it called revenge spending after the pandemic. Curious how you think retailers should be thinking about this and weaving it into how they communicate with customers and what their digital strategy should be.
Yeah, I think for all retailers, we're all sort of watching the same dynamic. So, things are happening pretty rapidly. Right there, if you're looking at the, kind of the economic climate that we sit in, a year ago, it felt a little bit different from where it is right now and where it's been, particularly all summer, again, with this wide open economy and people are out and doing things. But as a retailer, you have to be a little bit smarter about that. So it's not about putting, hey, this is on sale, come in here, or hey, this is now a lower price, come on in here. Again, if you're paying attention to these consumer trends and you're, paying attention to kind of what they're listening to, from news and social media, the trend is to get out there and spend. The trend is to get out there and do things to reward yourself. In the old days, we always said, you want to, quote, get out in front of the customer at that right intersection of when they're ready to purchase with the, the right item at the right time. And I don't know if that's really true anymore. I think our job as retailers is to kind of walk beside those consumers and in some cases right behind those consumers and really watch where they're going, watch how they spend, watch where they go on your website, what they're doing, and in some cases what they're not doing anymore. Are they willingly giving you that email address or that cell phone number for SMS messaging? I don't know. I mean, are they really paying attention to what's on the website? Is having just a sale enough to get them in? Again, if they're going for those higher ticket items, maybe it's time to start talking about a little more of that luxe item, those things that, they weren't able to buy before, but maybe they can buy now.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. It's a habit, I think, of many retailers because it's one of the only levers they've had for so long to kind of shell out those discounts to lure people into a purchase. And it's funny because we did a shopper survey recently that found that only 36% of shoppers actually need a discount when they're engaging or looking to purchase from a brand. So it just goes to show that, to your point, there are so many motivations for a shopper to browse or buy, and being able to be alongside them to understand what's unique for them is huge. And I know it's been a big priority for JTV as well. So thank you so much, Kathleen, for joining me today. I really enjoyed the conversation, and thank you everyone for joining me at Coffee and Commerce.